The small town of Lira was a place where time seemed to move slower. Nestled between rolling hills and dense forests, it was a community where everyone knew each other. The air was always filled with the scent of blooming flowers and the sound of children laughing as they played in the dusty streets. At the heart of the town was the bustling marketplace, where vendors sold everything from fresh produce to handmade crafts. Adaeze, a young woman in her mid-20s, was a familiar face at the market. She helped her mother, Mama Neka, run their stall, which was known for its vibrant fruits and fragrant herbs. Adaeze had a natural grace about her, and her kindness made her beloved by everyone in Lira. She often dreamed of a life beyond the market, but for now, she was content with her simple, peaceful existence. One sunny afternoon, as Adaeze arranged baskets of ripe mangoes, a stranger caught her eye. He was tall, with a confident stride and a smile that seemed to light up the entire marketplace. His name was Kofi, a trader who traveled between towns selling exotic goods. From the moment they met, Kofi's charm was undeniable, and Adaeze found herself drawn to him in ways she couldn't explain. Kofi was unlike anyone Adaeze had ever met. He had a way with words that made her feel like the most important person in the world. "You're a queen," he would say, his voice smooth and warm, "and I'll treat you like one." True to his word, Kofi began showering Adaeze with gifts, colorful fabrics, fragrant oils, and even a delicate gold bracelet that sparkled in the sunlight. At first, Adaeze was swept off her feet. Kofi's attention was intoxicating, and she found herself looking forward to his visits. He would tell her stories of his travels, making her laugh with his witty jokes and adventurous tales. The townsfolk began to whisper, "Adaeze has found her match. Kofi treats her like a queen." Adaze's heart fluttered with hope. Maybe, just maybe, Kofi was the one she had been waiting for. But beneath Kofi's charming smile and grand gestures, there was a darkness that Adaeze couldn't yet see. A shadow lingered in his eyes, a flicker of anger that only appeared when things didn't go his way. Yet, in the early days of their relationship, Adaeze chose to ignore it, focusing instead on the way he made her feel. One weekend, Kofi invited Adaeze to his home on the outskirts of Lira. She packed a small bag, her heart racing with excitement. Kofi's house was modest but cozy, with a small garden filled with blooming flowers. He welcomed her with open arms, calling her my queen as he led her inside. That evening, Kofi cooked a meal for Adaeze, serving it with a smile. "For my queen," he said, placing the plate in front of her. They laughed and talked late into the night, and Adaeze felt like she was living in a fairy tale. Kofi's attention was unwavering, and she couldn't help but feel special. But as the night wore on, Adaeze noticed small things that made her uneasy. Kofi's tone would shift suddenly, his voice sharp and cold when he didn't get his way. Once, when she reached for her phone to check the time, he snapped, "Who are you calling?" Adaeze laughed it off, but the tension in the room was palpable. As the weeks passed, Kofi's behavior became more unpredictable. He began showing up unannounced at the market, watching Adaeze with an intensity that made her uneasy. "I just wanted to make sure you're safe," he would say, but his presence felt more like a cage than protection. One day, as Adaeze was helping a customer, Kofi appeared at the stall. His eyes were dark, and his voice was low as he asked, "Who was that man you were talking to earlier?" Adaeze frowned, confused. "That was just Mr. Okeke, Mama Neka's friend. He was buying some herbs." Kofi's jaw tightened, and he muttered something under his breath before storming off. Adaeze tried to convince herself that Kofi's jealousy was a sign of how much he cared. But deep down, a small voice whispered doubts she couldn't ignore. She began to wonder if the man she thought she knew was hiding a darker side. One evening, after a long day at the market, Adaeze returned to Kofi's house. She was exhausted and looking forward to a quiet night. But as soon as she walked through the door, Kofi began questioning her. "Why were you gone so long?" he demanded, his voice sharp. Adaeze sighed, trying to keep her tone light. "It was a busy day, Kofi. I'm just tired." But Kofi wasn't satisfied. His questions grew more accusatory, his tone harsher. Adaeze's patience wore thin, and before she knew it, they were shouting at each other. Kofi's face twisted with anger, and for the first time, Adaeze felt the sting of his palm against her cheek. Shocked and trembling, she fought back, slapping him in return. Their shouts echoed through the house, drawing the attention of neighbors who rushed in to separate them. Adaeze packed her things and left, her heart heavy with confusion and pain. The next day, Kofi came to Adaeze's home, his eyes filled with tears. "I'm sorry, Adaeze," he whispered, pulling her into his arms. "I don't know what came over me. I'll change, I promise." Against her better judgment, Adaeze believed him. She returned to his home, hoping that their love could overcome the darkness. For a while, things seemed better. Kofi was attentive and caring, just like he had been in the beginning. But Adaeze couldn't shake the memory of his anger, the way his face had twisted with rage. She tried to push the thoughts away, focusing on the good moments. But the cracks in their relationship were beginning to show, and Adaeze couldn't ignore them forever. Adaeze's mother, Mama Nneka, was a wise woman with a keen intuition. From the moment she met Kofi, she sensed something amiss. His charm felt too polished, his smiles too practiced. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Mama Nneka sat Adaeze down in their small kitchen, the aroma of spicy jollof rice filling the air. "My daughter," Mama Nneka began, her voice gentle but firm. "This man, Kofi, he is not who you think he is. A man who raises his hand to you does not love you. Love should be a safe harbor, not a storm." Adaeze shook her head, tears welling in her eyes. "Mama, you don't understand. Kofi loves me. He's just stressed. He'll change. I know he will." Mama Nneka sighed, her heart heavy with worry. "My child, love cannot grow where there is no respect. Do not let his words blind you to his actions." But Adaeze, clouded by love and hope, chose to ignore her mother's warning. Despite the warning signs, Adaeze and Kofi's relationship continued to grow. One day, Kofi proposed, and Adaeze, swept up in the moment, said yes. The wedding was a grand affair, with the entire town of Lira in attendance. Adaeze looked radiant in her white dress, her smile lighting up the room. But as she stood at the altar, exchanging vows with Kofi, a small voice in the back of her mind whispered doubts. She pushed them aside, focusing on the man in front of her, the man she believed she loved. The reception was filled with laughter and music, but as the night wore on, Adaeze noticed Kofi drinking heavily. His laughter grew louder, his words slurred. She tried to ignore it, but the unease in her heart grew. In the early days of their marriage, Kofi was attentive and caring, just like he had been in the beginning. He would cook meals for Adaeze, call her my queen, and make her laugh with his jokes. For a while, it felt like the fairy tale Adaeze had dreamed of. But as the weeks turned into months, cracks began to show. Kofi's drinking became more frequent, and his temper grew shorter. Small disagreements would escalate into shouting matches, and Adaeze found herself walking on eggshells to avoid setting him off. She tried to convince herself that it was just a phase, that Kofi would change. But deep down, she knew something was wrong. One night, after a particularly heated argument, Kofi's anger boiled over. He raised his hand, and for the first time, Adaeze felt the sting of his palm against her cheek. Shocked and trembling, she fought back, slapping him in return. Their shouts echoed through the house, drawing the attention of neighbors who rushed in to separate them. Adaeze packed her things and left, her heart heavy with confusion and pain. But the next day, Kofi came to her, his eyes filled with tears. "I'm sorry, Adaeze," he whispered, pulling her into his arms. "I don't know what came over me. I'll change, I promise." Against her better judgment, Adaeze believed him. She returned to his home, hoping that their love could overcome the darkness. Adaeze woke up the next morning feeling hopeful. She believed that Kofi's apology was genuine and that they could start anew. She decided to give him another chance, hoping that their love would overcome any challenges. As she prepared breakfast, she thought about how she could make their relationship better. She wanted to be patient and understanding, even if it meant overlooking some of Kofi's flaws. Kofi came into the kitchen with a smile on his face. He kissed Adaeze gently on the cheek and thanked her for coming back. They sat down together and talked about their plans for the future. Kofi promised to change his ways and be a better partner. Adaeze felt a sense of relief wash over her. She hoped that this time, things would be different. As the days passed, Adaeze tried her best to keep the peace. She focused on the positive aspects of their relationship and ignored the small signs of trouble. However, deep down, she couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. She kept telling herself that everything would work out in the end, but a part of her knew that there were still unresolved issues between them. One day at the market, Adaeze noticed that Kofi had started showing up more frequently. At first, she thought he was just being protective, but soon she realized that his presence made her feel uncomfortable. He would watch her closely and question every interaction she had with other people. One afternoon, while she was talking to an old friend, Kofi appeared suddenly and interrupted their conversation. "Who is this?" Kofi asked sharply, glaring at the man. Adaeze tried to explain that it was just a friend from childhood, but Kofi didn't seem convinced. He demanded that the man leave immediately, causing a scene in front of everyone. Adaeze felt embarrassed and angry. She told Kofi to calm down, but he refused to listen. His jealousy was becoming more apparent, and it was starting to affect their relationship. After the incident, Adaeze confronted Kofi about his behavior. "You need to trust me," she said firmly. "I don't want to lose our friendship because of your insecurities." Kofi apologized again, but Adaeze could see the anger simmering beneath his words. She began to wonder if their relationship was worth all the stress and tension. Despite her doubts, she decided to give him one more chance, hoping that things would improve. Mama Nneka noticed the changes in her daughter. She saw how tired and stressed Adaeze looked whenever she returned from spending time with Kofi. One evening, as they sat together in the living room, Mama Nneka decided to talk to Adaeze about her concerns. "My child, are you sure you're happy with Kofi?" she asked gently. Adaeze hesitated, unsure of how to respond. "I love him, Mama," Adaeze replied softly. "But sometimes things aren't easy. He gets angry, and I don't know what to do." Mama Nneka sighed deeply. She knew that Adaeze was struggling, but didn't want to push her too hard. "Remember, my dear, love should never hurt you. If someone truly cares about you, they will respect you and treat you well." Adaeze nodded, knowing that her mother was right. But she also felt torn between her feelings for Kofi and the advice she was receiving. That night, Adaeze lay awake thinking about her mother's words. She realized that she needed to make a decision about her relationship with Kofi. She couldn't keep living in fear and uncertainty. She needed to find a way to either fix their problems or move on. With a heavy heart, she resolved to have a serious conversation with Kofi the next day, hoping that they could work things out once and for all. The next day, Adaeze invited Kofi to sit down and talk. She wanted to be honest with him about her feelings and the concerns she had been having. "Kofi, we need to talk," she said calmly. "I've been noticing that you get very angry sometimes, and it scares me." Kofi looked surprised and a bit defensive. "I'm sorry if I scared you," he said quietly. "I never meant to hurt you." Adaeze took a deep breath and continued. "I love you, but I can't keep living like this. We need to find a way to fix our problems. Or maybe we need to take a break and think about what we really want." Kofi's eyes filled with tears as he listened to her words. He knew that he had been making mistakes and that he needed to change. "I promise I'll try harder," he whispered. "Please don't give up on us." After their conversation, Adaeze felt a little lighter. She appreciated Kofi's willingness to listen and his desire to make things better. However, she also knew that action spoke louder than words. She would need to see real changes in his behavior before she could fully trust him again. For now, she decided to give him another chance. hoping that they could rebuild their relationship on a stronger foundation. Despite their conversation, Adaeze found it difficult to let go of her fears. She noticed that Kofi's temper flared up more often, especially when he drank alcohol. One evening, after a long day at work, Kofi came home in a bad mood. He started criticizing everything Adaeze did, from the way she cooked dinner to how she arranged the furniture. Adaeze tried to stay calm, but his constant nagging wore her down. When Kofi finally lost control and shouted at her, Adaeze couldn't hold back her tears. She felt trapped and helpless, unsure of how to make things better. She wished that Kofi would understand how much his behavior affected her. That night, as they lay in bed, Adaeze turned to Kofi and pleaded with him to stop drinking. "Please, Kofi," she sobbed. "It's hurting both of us." Kofi held her close and promised to cut back on his drinking. He admitted that he had been using alcohol as a way to cope with his stress and frustration. Adaeze hoped that his promise would lead to real change. But deep down, she feared that their problems were too deep to solve easily. She prayed that they could find a way to heal their relationship and build a happier future together. In the weeks that followed, Kofi made an effort to change his behavior. He attended therapy sessions and worked on managing his anger and drinking habits. Adaeze noticed a difference in his attitude and demeanor. He seemed more patient and understanding, and their arguments became less frequent. For the first time in a long time, Adaeze felt a glimmer of hope. They spent more quality time together, going for walks in the park and cooking meals side by side. Kofi's efforts to show his love and appreciation for Adaeze were heartfelt and sincere. He bought her flowers, wrote her sweet notes, and always made sure to tell her how much she meant to him. Adaeze cherished these moments, believing that they were finally moving in the right direction. However, despite the progress they had made, Adaeze still had lingering doubts. She wondered if Kofi's changes were permanent or if they were just temporary fixes. She knew that rebuilding trust would take time and effort from both of them. For now, she chose to focus on the positive changes and enjoy the newfound happiness in their relationship. She hoped that they could continue to grow stronger together. One day, Adaeze ran into an old friend from school, Chica. They hadn't seen each other in years, and catching up brought back many fond memories. Chica noticed the subtle changes in Adaze's demeanor and asked her how things were going. Adaeze hesitated at first, but eventually opened up about her struggles with Kofi. Chica listened carefully, offering support and advice. "You deserve to be treated with love and respect," Chica said warmly. "Don't settle for anything less than what makes you truly happy." Adaeze appreciated her friend's words and felt grateful to have someone who understood her situation. Talking to Chica reminded her of the importance of self-worth and the value of having a strong support system. After their conversation, Adaeze felt more confident about standing up for herself. She realized that she didn't have to endure abuse or mistreatment in order to maintain her relationship. With Chica's encouragement, she decided to set clearer boundaries with Kofi and communicate her needs more effectively. She hoped that by doing so, they could create a healthier and more balanced partnership. Determined to protect herself, Adaeze approached Kofi with a serious tone. "We need to talk about boundaries," she said firmly. "I love you, but I can't keep living in fear of your anger. You need to respect my space and my feelings." Kofi looked taken aback, but listened intently as Adaeze explained her concerns. She outlined specific behaviors that she found unacceptable and requested that he work on controlling his temper. At first, Kofi struggled with the idea of setting boundaries. He was used to having things his way and found it challenging to adapt to new expectations. However, Adaeze remained patient and persistent, reminding him that their relationship depended on mutual respect and understanding. Slowly but surely, Kofi began to make adjustments. He learned to manage his emotions better and sought ways to express his frustrations without resorting to aggression. Adaeze felt relieved to see Kofi's willingness to change. She acknowledged that it wouldn't happen overnight, but she was proud of the progress they had made so far. By establishing clear boundaries, They created a safer and more supportive environment for both of them. Adaeze hoped that this newfound balance would help strengthen their bond and bring them closer together. Despite their efforts to improve, there were times when Kofi's old habits resurfaced. One evening, after a particularly stressful day at work, Kofi came home in a foul mood. Adaeze tried to comfort him, but he pushed her away, snapping at her for no reason. The tension between them escalated quickly, and before she knew it, Kofi had raised his voice and lashed out at her. Adaeze felt her heart sink as she realized that they were back to square one. She retreated to the bedroom, trying to process the pain and disappointment she felt. Kofi followed her, his eyes filled with regret. "I'm so sorry, Adaeze," he pleaded. "I didn't mean to hurt you. Please forgive me." Adaeze didn't know what to say. She wanted to believe him, but the wounds of the past made it hard to trust him completely. After a long silence, Adaeze finally spoke. "I forgive you, Kofi, but we need to work harder on this. I can't keep going through these ups and downs." Kofi nodded, understanding the gravity of her words. He promised to seek further help and commit to making lasting changes. Adaeze hoped that this moment of weakness would serve as a wake-up call for both of them, pushing them to fight harder for their relationship. Following the latest incident, Adaeze and Kofi redoubled their efforts to improve their relationship. They attended couples counseling sessions where they learned effective communication strategies and conflict resolution techniques. The therapist helped them identify the root causes of their problems and guided them towards healthier ways of interacting. Adaeze felt encouraged by the progress they were making and appreciated Kofi's renewed commitment to change. Outside of therapy, they practiced what they learned by openly discussing their feelings and addressing issues before they escalated. Kofi made a conscious effort to control his temper and avoid situations that triggered his anger. Adaeze supported him throughout the process, offering encouragement and patience. Together, they worked towards creating a more stable and loving environment for themselves. Although the journey was challenging, Adaeze began to see glimpses of the man she had fallen in love with. Kofi's kindness and affection returned, and their bond grew stronger with each passing day. They celebrated small victories along the way, recognizing the importance of perseverance and teamwork. Adaeze hoped that their renewed efforts would lead to lasting happiness and fulfillment in their relationship. One day, while Adaeze was at the market, she met a new friend named Ifeoma. Ifeoma was kind and cheerful, and they quickly hit it off. They spent time talking about their lives and shared stories about their families and dreams. Adaeze felt a sense of relief being around someone who didn't know about her struggles with Kofi. It was refreshing to have a friendship that wasn't burdened by past conflicts. As they became closer, Ifeoma began to notice the occasional bruises on Adaeze's arms and face. Concerned, she gently asked Adaeze if everything was okay. At first, Adaeze hesitated to share the truth, but eventually opened up about her relationship with Kofi. Ifeoma listened attentively and offered her support. "You don't deserve to be treated like this," Ifeoma said firmly. "If you ever need help or just want to talk, I'm here for you." Adaeze appreciated Ifeoma's kindness and felt grateful to have such a caring friend. Having someone outside of her family understand her situation gave her strength and courage. She realized that she wasn't alone in her struggles and that there were people who cared about her well-being. With Ifeoma's encouragement, Adaeze started to believe that she deserved better and that she could find happiness again. Mama Nneka noticed a change in Adaeze's demeanor after meeting Ifeoma. She saw how much happier and more confident her daughter seemed. One evening, as they sat together in the kitchen, Mama Nneka asked Adaeze about her new friend. Adaeze told her mother about Ifeoma and how supportive she had been during difficult times. Mama Nneka smiled warmly, glad to see her daughter finding comfort in friendship. "Having friends is important, my child," Mama Nneka said softly. "They can offer you strength and guidance when you need it most." Adaeze nodded, appreciating her mother's wisdom. She knew that Mama Nneka had always been her biggest supporter, and that she would stand by her no matter what. The bond between them grew stronger as they talked about the challenges Adaeze faced and the steps she was taking to overcome them. That night, Adaeze felt a renewed sense of hope. She realized that she had a strong support system in her family and friends. Knowing that they believed in her gave her the courage to keep fighting for a better future. She promised herself that she would continue working on improving her relationship with Kofi, but also acknowledged that she needed to prioritize her own well-being and happiness. The annual village festival was approaching, and everyone in Lira was preparing for the big event. Adaeze and Kofi decided to attend together, hoping it would be a chance for them to reconnect and enjoy some fun activities. As they walked through the bustling streets filled with colorful decorations and lively music, Adaeze felt a sense of joy and excitement. For the first time in a long time, she allowed herself to relax and enjoy the moment. They participated in various games and competitions, cheering each other on and laughing together. The festive atmosphere brought out the best in both of them, and they found themselves reminiscing about happier times. Adaeze cherished these moments, wishing they could stay this way forever. However, she couldn't ignore the lingering doubts in the back of her mind. She knew that the festival wouldn't solve all their problems, but it provided a temporary escape from reality. As the night went on, Adaeze and Kofi joined the villagers in dancing and celebrating. They held hands and swayed to the rhythm of the drums, feeling a sense of unity and connection. For a brief moment, it seemed like their troubles had vanished, and they were simply two people in love. But deep down, Adaeze knew that they still had a long way to go. She hoped that the positive memories from the festival would inspire them to work harder on their relationship. After the festival, Adaeze and Kofi returned home feeling tired but content. They sat on the porch, gazing at the stars and reflecting on the day's events. In a rare moment of vulnerability, Kofi opened up about his feelings. "Adaeze, I've been thinking a lot lately," he said quietly. "I realize now how much I've hurt you, and I'm truly sorry for everything." Adaeze listened intently, surprised by Kofi's honesty. She had never seen him so open and sincere before. "I want to be a better person for you," Kofi continued. "I know I've made mistakes, but I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make things right." Adaeze felt a mix of emotions: hope, fear, and uncertainty. She wanted to believe him, but also knew that action spoke louder than words. For the first time, Adaeze felt comfortable sharing her own vulnerabilities with Kofi. She told him about her fears and insecurities, explaining how his behavior had affected her emotionally. They talked late into the night, pouring their hearts out to each other. It was a step towards healing, but Adaeze knew that rebuilding trust would take time and effort. She hoped that this moment of vulnerability would mark the beginning of a new chapter in their relationship. Despite the progress they had made, there were still moments when old habits resurfaced. One afternoon, while Adaeze was busy with household chores, Kofi came home in a bad mood. He started criticizing her for not having dinner ready on time and accused her of neglecting her responsibilities. Adaeze tried to explain that she had been busy with other tasks, but Kofi wouldn't listen. The tension escalated quickly, and before she knew it, Kofi had raised his voice and lashed out at her. Adaeze felt her heart sink as she realized that they were slipping back into their old patterns. She retreated to the bedroom, trying to process the pain and disappointment she felt. Kofi followed her, his eyes filled with regret. "I'm so sorry, Adaeze," he pleaded. "I didn't mean to hurt you. Please forgive me." Adaeze didn't know what to say. She wanted to believe him, but the wounds of the past made it hard to trust him completely. After a long silence, she finally spoke. "I forgive you, Kofi, but we need to work harder on this. I can't keep going through these ups and downs." Kofi nodded, understanding the gravity of her words. He promised to seek further help and commit to making lasting changes. Adaeze hoped that this setback would serve as a wake-up call for both of them, pushing them to fight harder for their relationship. Determined to break the cycle of abuse and rebuild their relationship, Adaeze and Kofi sought additional help. They enrolled in an intensive therapy program designed to address issues of domestic violence and emotional trauma. The therapist worked closely with them, guiding them through exercises and discussions aimed at fostering understanding, empathy, and communication. Adaeze felt hopeful that this time, they might finally find a way to heal their wounds. During the sessions, Adaeze learned to set firm boundaries and express her needs clearly without fear of retaliation. She practiced assertiveness techniques and developed coping strategies to deal with stress and anxiety. Kofi, on the other hand, focused on managing his anger and learning healthier ways to handle conflict. He attended anger management classes and worked on building self-awareness and emotional intelligence. As they progressed through the program, Adaeze and Kofi began to see positive changes in their relationship. They communicated more openly and respectfully, and their interactions became less tense and confrontational. Adaeze felt a sense of empowerment and confidence that she hadn't experienced in a long time. She hoped that these newfound skills would help them create a stronger, healthier partnership built on mutual respect and love. One weekend, Adaeze's extended family gathered for a reunion at Mama Neka's house. It was a joyful occasion filled with laughter, food, and storytelling. Adaeze felt happy to be surrounded by her loved ones, but she also felt a bit anxious about introducing Kofi to her relatives. She worried that they might judge him based on her past experiences and that it could cause tension. To her surprise, Kofi behaved exceptionally well throughout the gathering. He was polite, respectful, and engaged in conversations with everyone. He even helped Mama Neka in the kitchen, earning praise for his cooking skills. Adaeze watched him interact with her family and felt a sense of pride. Maybe, just maybe, he was truly changing for the better. As the night went on, Adaeze's cousins and uncles commented on how different Kofi seemed compared to the last time they had met him. They noted his improved manners and demeanor, expressing their approval. Adaeze felt relieved and grateful that her family could see the positive changes in Kofi. It gave her hope that their relationship might finally be on the right track. She prayed that this newfound harmony would continue and bring them closer together. A few weeks later, Adaeze received an invitation to attend a professional development workshop in a neighboring town. It was a great opportunity for her to learn new skills and network with other professionals in her field. However, she was hesitant to leave Kofi alone for several days, fearing that he might revert to his old ways in her absence. She discussed her concerns with him, hoping that he would understand her worries. Kofi reassured her that he was committed to their journey of healing and that he would use the time apart to reflect on his progress. He encouraged her to pursue her goals and promised to support her every step of the way. Adaeze felt torn but ultimately decided to attend the workshop, trusting that Kofi would honor his word. During her time away, Adaeze kept in touch with Kofi via phone calls and text messages. To her delight, he remained calm and patient, showing genuine interest in her experiences. When she returned home, she found that Kofi had kept his promise and had used the time productively. This test of trust strengthened their bond and reinforced Adaeze's belief that they were moving in the right direction. She felt proud of both of them for overcoming this challenge. As life returned to normal, Adaeze and Kofi faced new challenges that tested their commitment to each other. Work pressures, financial difficulties, and family obligations added stress to their already fragile relationship. There were times when they felt overwhelmed and doubted whether they could handle everything together. However, they reminded themselves of the progress they had made and the love they shared. Whenever conflicts arose, they used the communication and problem-solving skills they had learned in therapy. Instead of resorting to shouting matches or silent treatments, they talked things through calmly and rationally. They supported each other during tough times, offering encouragement and practical help. Slowly but surely, they developed a deeper understanding of each other's needs and perspectives. Adaeze and Kofi also made time for fun and relaxation, recognizing the importance of maintaining a healthy balance in their lives. They went on weekend trips, explored new hobbies, and enjoyed simple pleasures like watching movies or cooking meals together. These shared experiences brought them closer and reminded them why they had fallen in love in the first place. They faced challenges together, knowing that their love and determination would see them through. Several months had passed since Adaeze and Kofi began their journey of healing. To celebrate their progress, they decided to host a small dinner party for close friends and family. They invited Mama Nneka, Ifeoma, and a few other trusted individuals who had supported them along the way. Adaeze prepared a delicious meal, and Kofi helped decorate the house, creating a warm and welcoming atmosphere. As their guests arrived, Adaeze and Kofi felt a sense of pride and accomplishment. They looked back on the challenges they had overcome and the growth they had experienced. They thanked their friends and family for their unwavering support and shared stories of their journey. Everyone congratulated them on their progress and expressed their hope for their continued success. During the dinner, Adaeze reflected on how far they had come. She realized that their relationship was far from perfect, but it was much stronger and healthier than it had been before. She felt grateful for the love and support she had received and resolved to keep working on herself and her relationship with Kofi. As they toasted to their future, Adaeze and Kofi embraced, knowing that they had the strength and resilience to face whatever challenges lay ahead. One morning, Adaeze received an email from a local organization offering her a position as a community health worker. The role involved educating people about healthy living and providing basic medical assistance to those in need. Adaeze was thrilled at the prospect of contributing to her community and advancing her career. She knew that accepting this job would mean more responsibility and possibly longer hours, but she felt ready for the challenge. Adaeze shared the news with Kofi, who was genuinely happy for her. "This is a great opportunity, Adaeze," he said, giving her a warm hug. "I'm proud of you." However, Adaeze could sense a hint of concern in his voice. She understood that the new job might affect their time together, but she reassured him that they would find a way to balance work and their relationship. As Adaeze prepared for her new role, she felt a renewed sense of purpose and excitement. She looked forward to making a positive impact on the lives of others while continuing to nurture her own growth. With Kofi's support, she felt confident that she could handle the demands of her new job and maintain a strong bond with her partner. The first few weeks at her new job were both exhilarating and challenging for Adaeze. She enjoyed meeting new people and learning from experienced colleagues, but the long hours and demanding schedule took a toll on her energy levels. Some days, she came home exhausted, barely able to muster the strength to cook dinner or engage in conversation with Kofi. Kofi noticed a change in Adaeze's demeanor and became worried about her well-being. He suggested that they sit down and discuss ways to manage her workload better. Together, they brainstormed strategies for balancing her professional responsibilities with personal time. They agreed to set aside specific evenings for relaxation and weekends for spending quality time together. Despite the initial adjustment period, Adaeze gradually found her rhythm. She learned to prioritize tasks effectively and delegate when necessary. Kofi supported her by taking on more household chores and being understanding when she needed space to unwind. As they navigated these changes together, their relationship grew stronger, built on mutual respect and teamwork. One evening, just as Adaeze and Kofi were settling down for dinner, there was a knock at the door. When Adaeze opened it, she was surprised to see her cousin Hugo standing there with a suitcase. "Hugo, what are you doing here?" Adaeze asked, confused. Hugo explained that she had recently gone through a difficult breakup and needed a place to stay temporarily. Without hesitation, Adaeze invited her in, knowing that family always came first. Hugo's presence brought a mix of emotions for Adaeze and Kofi. On one hand, they were happy to help a family member in need. On the other hand, they worried about how Hugo's stay might affect their privacy and routine. Kofi tried to be welcoming, but he couldn't help feeling a bit uncomfortable with the sudden change. Adaeze reassured him that they would find a way to make things work. Over the next few days, Hugo settled into their home, and tensions began to rise. Her habits and routines clashed with theirs, leading to minor disagreements. Adaeze found herself mediating between Hugo and Kofi, trying to keep the peace. Despite the challenges, she remained committed to supporting her cousin and maintaining harmony in her relationship. She hoped that with patience and understanding, they could all coexist peacefully. As the days passed, the tension between Kofi and Hugo continued to grow. One evening, after a particularly heated argument over household chores, Adaeze decided it was time to address the issue head-on. She called a family meeting and asked everyone to express their feelings openly and honestly. Kofi spoke first, explaining how frustrated he felt with the disruption to their normal routine. Hugo acknowledged his concerns and apologized for imposing on their space. Adaeze listened carefully, appreciating their willingness to communicate. She then shared her own thoughts, emphasizing the importance of compromise and empathy. Together, they discussed ways to improve their living situation. They created a chore chart to divide responsibilities fairly and established clear boundaries regarding personal space and time. By working together to resolve their conflicts, they developed a deeper understanding of each other's needs and perspectives. Adaeze felt relieved that they were able to find common ground and restore a sense of harmony in their home. A few months later, Adaeze and Kofi reached a significant milestone in their journey of healing. They celebrated their first anniversary since beginning therapy, reflecting on the progress they had made. To mark the occasion, they planned a special weekend getaway to a nearby resort, where they could relax and reconnect away from the stresses of daily life. During their trip, Adaeze and Kofi reminisced about the challenges they had faced and the lessons they had learned. They talked about the moments of vulnerability and growth, acknowledging the hard work and dedication required to rebuild their relationship. They also expressed gratitude for the support they had received from friends, family, and therapists along the way. As they strolled hand in hand along the beach, Adaeze felt a deep sense of contentment. She realized that while their path hadn't been easy, it had ultimately led them to a place of greater understanding and love. She cherished the memories they had created and looked forward to building many more in the future. With renewed hope and commitment, they returned home, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Despite their progress, Adaeze and Kofi encountered setbacks that tested their resilience. One day, Kofi lost his job unexpectedly due to company downsizing. The news hit him hard, leaving him feeling uncertain and anxious about their financial stability. Adaeze tried to comfort him, reminding him that they would get through this together, but she couldn't ignore the reality of their situation. The stress of unemployment affected Kofi's mood and behavior. He became withdrawn and irritable, struggling to cope with the loss of income and identity. Adaeze found herself walking on eggshells, unsure of how to support him without adding to his burden. She worried that their hard-won progress might unravel under the weight of their current challenges. In response, Adaeze encouraged Kofi to seek counseling and join a job support group. She offered to help him update his resume and search for new opportunities. Together, they worked on creating a budget and exploring alternative sources of income. Through open communication and mutual support, they managed to navigate this difficult period, emerging stronger and more united than ever before. With time and effort, Kofi slowly regained his confidence and began to look for new employment opportunities. Adaeze stood by his side, offering encouragement and practical help. She reminded him of his skills and talents, helping him see the value he could bring to any workplace. As Kofi applied for jobs and attended interviews, Adaeze kept busy with her own work, ensuring that they stayed financially stable. Their shared determination paid off when Kofi received a job offer from a reputable company. The news brought tears of joy to both their eyes as they celebrated the significant achievement. They reflected on the challenges they had overcome and the strength they had gained through adversity. Adaeze felt proud of Kofi's perseverance and grateful for the support system they had built together. As they moved forward, Adaeze and Kofi resolved to continue nurturing their relationship and personal growth. They recognized that setbacks were inevitable, but believed that they had the tools and resilience to face them head-on. With renewed strength and hope, they embraced the future, ready to tackle whatever came their way. One summer, Adaeze extended family organized a reunion in Lira. It was a grand event, bringing together relatives from near and far. Adaeze and Kofi eagerly prepared for the gathering, excited to reconnect with loved ones and share stories of their recent successes. They decorated their home with colorful banners and flowers, creating a festive atmosphere. As guests arrived, Adaeze felt a wave of nostalgia wash over her. She greeted cousins, aunts, uncles, and grandparents with warm hugs and laughter. Kofi mingled with the crowd, engaging in lively conversations and forging new bonds. Throughout the day, they participated in various activities, including traditional dances, games, and storytelling sessions. During the reunion, Adaeze's family members commented on the positive changes they had observed in her and Kofi. They praised their resilience and dedication, expressing their admiration for the progress they had made. Adaeze felt grateful for the love and support of her family, knowing that their encouragement had played a crucial role in their journey. As the night drew to a close, she and Kofi reflected on the importance of family and the strength it provided them. Adaeze's success as a community health worker inspired her to pursue further education and expand her knowledge. She enrolled in an online course to earn a certification in public health, hoping to advance her career and make a greater impact on her community. Kofi was incredibly supportive of her ambitions, recognizing the value of her contributions and encouraging her to follow her dreams. At the same time, Kofi pursued his passion for photography, a hobby he had neglected during their tumultuous times. He spent weekends capturing the beauty of Lira's landscapes and documenting the lives of its residents. Adaeze admired his creativity and talent, cheering him on as he honed his skills and showcased his work. By supporting each other's dreams, Adaeze and Kofi fostered a sense of mutual respect and empowerment. They celebrated each other's achievements and provided encouragement during moments of doubt. This newfound synergy strengthened their relationship, allowing them to grow both individually and as a couple. They realized that true partnership meant lifting each other up and pursuing their goals together. As the years passed, Adaeze and Kofi continued to build a life filled with love, growth, and fulfillment. They faced challenges and setbacks, but their unwavering commitment to each other helped them overcome every obstacle. They nurtured their relationship through open communication, trust, and mutual support, creating a foundation of strength and resilience. Adaeze's work as a community health worker flourished, and she became a respected leader in her field. She initiated programs to improve healthcare access and promote wellness among underserved populations, earning recognition for her efforts. Kofi's photography gained recognition, and he started exhibiting his work in local galleries, inspiring others with his unique perspective. Together, they envisioned a future filled with possibilities. They dreamed of starting a family, traveling the world, and continuing to contribute to their community. Adaeze and Kofi knew that their journey wasn't over, but they were confident in their ability to face whatever came their way. With love, determination, and faith in each other, they looked toward the future with hope and excitement. Absolutely. Let's continue with the next 10 chapters of your story. Adaeze and Kofi had been talking about starting a family for some time. They felt that their relationship was strong enough and their lives stable enough to welcome a child. After much discussion and planning, they decided it was the right time. Adaeze visited her doctor to ensure she was in good health and began taking prenatal vitamins. When Adaeze shared the news with Kofi, he was overjoyed. "We're going to be parents," he whispered, his eyes filled with tears of happiness. They hugged each other tightly, imagining the future with their little one. Adaeze felt a mix of excitement and nervousness, but knowing that Kofi would be by her side gave her confidence. As the weeks passed, Adaeze started experiencing morning sickness and fatigue. Kofi took on more household responsibilities, ensuring that Adaeze could rest and take care of herself. He accompanied her to doctor's appointments and read up on pregnancy to better understand what she was going through. Their bond grew even stronger as they anticipated the arrival of their child. With the baby due in just a few months, Adaeze and Kofi began preparing their home for the new addition. They painted the nursery in soft, soothing colors and filled it with cozy furniture and toys. Adaeze spent hours arranging the room, dreaming of the day when she would hold her baby in her arms. Kofi attended parenting classes with Adaeze, learning about everything from diaper changing to feeding techniques. They practiced swaddling dolls and discussed their hopes and fears about being parents. Adaeze appreciated Kofi's dedication and commitment to being an involved father. She knew that their child would grow up in a loving and supportive environment. They also made sure to involve their families in the preparations. Mama Nneka and Hugo helped sew handmade blankets and clothes, while Ifeoma organized a baby shower, inviting friends and relatives to celebrate the upcoming arrival. The outpouring of love and support from their community made Adaeze feel grateful and blessed. She looked forward to sharing this joyous occasion with everyone who had supported them along the way. The day finally arrived when Adaeze went into labor. Kofi rushed her to the hospital, holding her hand and offering words of encouragement throughout the journey. Adaeze's contractions were intense, but she focused on her breathing and the thought of meeting their baby soon. Kofi stayed by her side, wiping her forehead and reminding her how strong she was. After hours of labor, Adaeze gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. As she held her daughter for the first time, tears of joy streamed down her face. Kofi gazed at their newborn with awe, whispering, "She's perfect." They named her Chidinma, meaning God's wealth, symbolizing the precious gift they had received. The days following the birth were filled with exhaustion and wonder. Adaeze and Kofi marveled at every little thing Chidinma did, from her tiny yawns to her first cries. They took turns caring for her, learning the intricacies of parenthood together. Despite the challenges, they felt an overwhelming sense of love and fulfillment. As new parents, Adaeze and Kofi faced a steep learning curve of adjusting to life with a baby. Sleepless nights and endless diaper changes became their new normal. Adaeze struggled with balancing her work and motherhood, feeling guilty whenever she had to leave Chidinma to attend to her duties as a community health worker. Kofi tried to ease the burden by taking on more childcare responsibilities, but they both realized that it would take time to find a rhythm. Despite the difficulties, they found moments of joy amidst the chaos. Watching Chidinma's first smile or hearing her coo brought immense happiness. They cherished quiet evenings when they could sit together, admiring their daughter's peaceful slumber. These fleeting moments reminded them why they had chosen to embark on this journey. To cope with the demands of parenthood, Adaeze and Kofi leaned on their support system. Mama Nneka often came over to help with housework and babysitting, allowing Adaeze to catch up on rest. Ifeoma and Hugo provided emotional support, sharing their own experiences and offering advice. With the love and guidance of their extended family, they navigated the early days of parenthood with grace and resilience. As Chidinma grew, Adaeze and Kofi celebrated every milestone with pride and joy. They watched in amazement as she learned to roll over, crawl, and eventually take her first steps. Each new achievement filled them with a sense of wonder and accomplishment. They documented these moments with countless photos and videos, creating a treasure trove of memories. Kofi took special delight in capturing Chidinma's expressions and movements through his photography. He created a photo album dedicated to her first year, showcasing her growth and development. Adaeze loved flipping through the pages, reliving the precious moments they had shared as a family. These tangible reminders of their journey strengthened their bond and deepened their appreciation for each other. In addition to celebrating Chidinma's milestones, Adaeze and Kofi made time for their own personal growth. They continued pursuing their individual passions, finding ways to integrate them into their busy lives. Adaeze attended conferences and workshops to enhance her skills as a community health worker, while Kofi exhibited his photographs at local galleries and art shows. By nurturing their own interests, they maintained a sense of fulfillment and balance. As Chidinma grew older, Adaeze and Kofi began establishing family traditions that would create lasting memories. One such tradition was their annual trip to visit Mama Nneka's village during the holiday season. They packed up their belongings and traveled to the countryside, where they spent quality time with extended family members. Chidinma delighted in playing with her cousins and exploring the natural beauty of the surroundings. Another tradition was the Sunday family dinners, where they gathered around the table to share stories and enjoy delicious meals. Adaeze prepared traditional dishes passed down through generations, teaching Chidinma about her cultural heritage. Kofi contributed by setting the table and engaging in lively conversations, fostering a sense of unity and connection. These traditions not only brought the family closer together, but also instilled important values in Chidinma. She learned the importance of family, respect, and gratitude through the rituals and customs they observed. Adaeze and Kofi took pride in passing on these lessons, knowing that they would shape their daughter's character and worldview. As Chidinma entered school age, Adaeze and Kofi encountered new challenges as parents. They faced decisions regarding her education, extracurricular activities, and social interactions. Adaeze worried about finding the right school that would nurture Chidinma's talents and provide a supportive environment. Kofi reassured her that they would make the best choices together, considering all options carefully. One particular challenge arose when Chidinma experienced difficulty making friends at school. Adaeze noticed that she seemed withdrawn and unhappy after coming home. Concerned, she spoke with Chidinma's teacher and discovered that she was struggling with bullying. Adaeze and Kofi immediately sprang into action, addressing the issue with the school administration and providing Chidinma with emotional support. They taught Chidinma strategies for standing up for herself and seeking help when needed. They also encouraged her to pursue hobbies and interests outside of school, helping her build self-confidence and develop meaningful friendships. Through open communication and unwavering support, Adaeze and Kofi guided Chidinma through this difficult period, reinforcing the importance of resilience and kindness. As Chidinma grew into a teenager, Adaeze and Kofi faced another phase of adjustment. They witnessed her blossoming independence and unique personality emerging. While proud of her progress, they also recognized the need to adapt their parenting style to accommodate her changing needs. Adaeze sought advice from other parents and professionals, learning about effective communication and boundary-setting techniques. Kofi embraced the role of a supportive father, listening to Chidinma's concerns and offering guidance without being overbearing. He encouraged her to explore her passions and make her own decisions, trusting her judgment and abilities. Adaeze and Kofi worked together to create a safe and nurturing environment where Chidinma could thrive. Through this process, Adaeze and Kofi also reflected on their own personal growth. They acknowledged the changes in their relationship and the evolving dynamics within their family. They continued prioritizing their partnership, carving out time for date nights and intimate conversations. By embracing change and maintaining open lines of communication, they ensured that their family remained strong and united. Years passed, and Chidinma flourished into a confident and accomplished young woman. Her academic achievements and extracurricular involvement earned her recognition and accolades. Adaeze and Kofi beamed with pride as they attended her graduation ceremonies and award presentations. They marveled at the person she had become, grateful for the opportunity to witness her journey. Chidinma's success extended beyond academics. She developed a passion for social justice and volunteered in various community projects. Inspired by her mother's work as a community health worker, Kofi supported her endeavors, attending events and cheering her on. They celebrated her accomplishments with heartfelt congratulations and tokens of appreciation, reinforcing their unconditional love and support. As they looked back on the years, Adaeze and Kofi felt a profound sense of fulfillment. They had weathered storms and overcome obstacles, but their unwavering commitment to each other and their family had led them to this moment of triumph. They cherished the memories they had created and looked forward to continuing their journey together. As Chidinma prepared to embark on her own path, Adaeze and Kofi reflected on the legacy they wanted to leave behind. They envisioned a future where their family's values of love, respect, and perseverance would endure. They hoped that Chidinma would carry these lessons with her as she pursued her dreams and built her own life. Adaeze and Kofi continued nurturing their relationship, recognizing the importance of sustaining the foundation they had built. They planned trips and adventures, eager to create new memories and experiences together. They also remained active in their community, using their skills and knowledge to make a positive impact on others' lives. In their golden years, Adaeze and Kofi found peace and contentment in the simple joys of life. They enjoyed watching Chidinma grow into a remarkable woman, knowing that they had played a significant role in shaping her character. They felt grateful for the love and support they had received from family and friends, recognizing that their journey had been enriched by the presence of those who believed in them. As they sat together on their porch, watching the sunset, Adaeze and Kofi held hands, reflecting on the incredible journey they had shared. They knew that their love and commitment had created a lasting legacy, one that would inspire future generations and stand the test of time.